Hello everybody, Road Warriors 627 here, and welcome back to another thoroughbred racing preview here on my channel. It'll be the last one of the year. We're going to do a video for Aqueduct on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2020, and I'm sure we can't wait to put this year to sleep. Now, New Year's Eve came up just an 8-race card. It's not very inspiring. It's kind of wide open, but it's not wide open for a good reason. All the horses are kind of slow. It's really not great. You don't have the best horses running this Thursday. But I figured in a year that's been so bad, I had a little time off. I figured I'd make a video for it. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm not planning to edit this a lot. So if you hear some filler words here and there, sorry about that. I'm just going to kind of ramble on as I go about the 8 races. I'm not going to take too long. I'm just going to give you my general thoughts on them. And that'll be it. Also, I just want to quickly mention that my channel intro video for 2021 will, of course, be coming out on New Year's Day, January 1st, probably sometime in the morning. We're going to be talking about the changes to the channel, also things that are staying the same with the channel, and a very important video that's going to be coming up. The first proper video of 2021 will be very important, and I hope you listen to it. If you heard the other day, Dave O'Rourke, the CEO of NYRA, is thinking about rebuilding the Belmont Grandstand. That first proper video after the channel update and intro for 2021 is going to be a complete rebuttal to that and why it shouldn't happen and how it would screw over all the common fans, the regular fans like you and me. Not people who are going to pay for incredible tickets. And we just want great views of the racetrack. We want to be close to the horses. We love our paddock. It's going to be something like that. There's going to be a lot of planning that goes into it to make it as concise and smooth as possible, because I would really like that video to reach a wide audience, which normally I don't care about, but with something like this, I hope it does. Alright, so let's talk about the actual races themselves at Aqueduct on the 31st. Race number 1, maiden claiming 20,000, 6 furlongs. Obviously no turf racing anymore. Everything's on the main track. I was very uninspired by this race and almost all the races. I finally came up with a first-time starter who might have the best first-time starting name in the history of horse racing. This kid is ready. Now tell me if you've ever heard the name of a first-time starter better than that. According to Brisnet, Sire's 20% with first-time starters, that being Hangover Kid. Dam has 2 winners from 4 starters, including both of them actually were stakes winners. Jesus Romero has not started a lot of horses on the year, only 9, and only one of them have won. But in a race where almost everybody else really stinks and they've just had time and time, chances and chances, maybe go to this horse, maybe try and find somebody who hasn't run a lot. There's one other firster in here, and there's a couple of horses who haven't run that much. Maybe try and find those. But I'm going to definitely be going with the 4 in here. This kid is ready, the first-time starter. Romero Mirage is riding. Now, as you know, I haven't really been playing anything since the end of the Belmont Fall Championship meet. Any bets I give out on this show today is strictly idea. It's not an actual bet I'm going to be making. I do not plan on betting this card. I would never bet this card unless I was actually going to the track, which obviously you can't do. One good thing about that article I mentioned with the Belmont renovations or knocking it down and putting up the new building is they do expect fans back for the Belmont Spring Summer Meet, which obviously is a good thing. That was about the only good thing in that article. So if I was betting here, $2 across the board on the 4. Race number 2. Now, there'll be a few races today, or several that I'm talking about, where I'm going to give out the standard top 4 selections, and that will start in race number 2. Wasn't that enthused by the 1, Okay Honey. Number 2, Courageous Girl, is okay for Dave Donk. Dave Donk actually has the 2 and the 7 in here. He's got 2 horses, but he's been cold as ice ever since the beginning of the Aqueduct Fall Meet when he started with that really good weekend. Maybe you want to box these 2 with the real logical favorite, who is Wasp, the number 5. He's got the best speed figures, 2 seconds, close seconds, and a blowout win. Two of those races were over sloppy tracks. But Kendrick Carmouche rides for Todd Pletcher. Seems like the obvious choice. I wouldn't try to beat this horse in here. Maybe just box the 2 donks with the 5 Wasp. Honey Money, not very anything creative at all there to round out the superfecta. Race number 3. There's a bunch of first-time starters in here, and this to me is the most interesting race on the card. The 1 and 1A. The 1 has run twice. The 1A's run once. They both didn't do much, yet they're only 9-2. This happens with entries a lot. You get 2 for the price of 1, so the price is driven down. I think David Aragona, the morning line maker, is right about this. They didn't do much, but they will get bet because they're an entry. Maybe they figure second, third time out will be better. No thanks. I think 9-2 is bad value there. Let's talk about some of the firsters in this wide open race. Number 2 is Lobster for Gary Siaka. Now, Gary Siaka actually has 2 firsters in the race, and he's actually horrible with firsters. He's just 2% out of 55. So I guess that's 1 for 55, 15% in the money over the last, however, what period that is. It's given out by Brisnet. But Lobster has been working well, as is his other horse, Interstate, who we'll talk about in a minute. Number 3, Reggae Music Man for Pat Kelly. This horse has sharp works, a couple of real sharp ones, including From the Gate. 19% sire wins with 18% sire wins with first-time starters. Dam's got 4 out of 5 winners. Breeding suits the sprint distance, so I'm very keyed in on the 3 horse in here. I think is a major use. Number 4, Interstate, who we just talked about, a great name, as I'm a big lover of infrastructure and roads and maps and stuff like that. Workouts over here have been good as well. Luis Reyes rides, who's been just 3% since Aqueduct opened back up in November. Siaka's got 1 win this meet. Really not good. But again, the other horses are not much to be inspired by, and you're getting 15-1 according to the morning line. Let's see if that changes. Obviously, the board can have a big impact in these kind of races. With the first-time starters, whatever direction the board goes in might be a very smart direction. Sometimes it's wrong, but a lot of times it's right. Number 5 is a second-time starter for John Kimmel, who does not have good numbers in second career starts. But, hey Mac, it's Jack ran on the turf on November 29th. Turf that was just starting to get old, and was actually up for the lead and led at the first and second call until he finally dropped back at 15-1. Maybe the surface switch will help. You got Lauban, who's by Uncle Mo, so that's obviously dirt. Workouts have been pretty good, so I think Hey Mac, it's Jack is definitely a good candidate in here at a square price if that holds up 6-1. Maybe you take a little more attention, maybe not. We'll find out. Number 6 is a firster for James Bond, H. James Bond, Demilano. Nick Juarez is up. I really don't like betting Bond firsters. I like betting Bond horses who do nothing first time out. The next time, he's not great with firsters. And, look, he picked it back up a little bit at Aqueduct, but he was still nowhere close to what he was doing at Saratoga earlier this year. I would... you're getting 12-1. You find something you like about him, fine. But I don't. Number 7 is Bingo John, firster for Brad Cox, 7-2. There's much better value on the firsters in here. Manny Franco, Brad Cox. Of course, this horse is going to take money. I'm going to try and beat this horse. Number 8, lukewarm favorite on the far outside, Dancing Bunk, Kendrick Carmouche for Michelle Nevin. Closed and actually got to the lead and then lost right at the end in the last race. 3 wide, had a little bit of a lead in the stretch according to the comments on the turf. So this again is a surface switch. You've got War Dancer, who's by Warfront. 5-2 in this field, and you have to watch the track. You don't know how the track's going to be playing, but let's just say the way Aqueduct usually plays this time of the year, I usually don't like to be way outside. The rail seems to be a bit of an advantage. Now, there is some rain in the forecast, so we're going to have to see how that holds up. Maybe the track will just be good. I don't expect there to be a lot of rain. There's going to be more intense rain on New Year's Day. But New Year's Eve, we're going to have to find out. Still, at 5-2, I'd try and take a look at the firsters here. I think that's a better idea, especially with the pedigree not exactly screaming dirt here. So maybe try one of the firsters. I'm going to go 5-3-2-4. Put that Kimmel second time starter on top, and then the three firsters, Pat Kelly and then Siaka's 2. The fourth race is another race where horses are just very hard to differentiate, and although I will say, compared to other races on the card, this race they've accomplished a little bit more. This is a claiming 26.5. Fair Regis got the inside post. Actually has the highest prime power number from Brisnet, but this horse has not won in a long time. 9 for 40 for the career. That's not bad. 539,000 and change. Still lately, though, has not found the winner's circle. Closest was back earlier this year at Belmont and the Spa. Jeffrey Englehart's doing okay, but I'd like to find some better ones in here. I don't know exactly where the prime power numbers come from. That's still a mystery to me, so I take them with a grain of salt. Number 2 is Rude Awakening, who I've seen run decently at this Aqueduct meet so far, dating back to November, and also the winter meet has run pretty often, and has showed up pretty well in all the starts. Should get up near the lead. Figure you're going to be towards the inside. He's probably going to have that inside front going position so long as Trevor McCarthy doesn't screw it up. Definitely a strong candidate in here. Number 3, Lovely Lady Lexi, I think could be dangerous on the cutback. Won 3 in a row before finishing second in a claiming 10 last time in Aqueduct on December 18th, going the mile. Not interested really in the 4. The 5 is the logical favorite, Daria's Angel, for Rudy Rodriguez. They're just going to try and find somebody better. But if she runs to those back races, particularly the one at Saratoga off the layoff earlier this year, very, very likely winner. Hopefully, though, that doesn't happen and we can make some money instead. 6, Lady by Choice, huge long shot. 7, Suze, who also likes to be near the lead. Really, the 2 and the 7 are the 2 clear speeds in here, at least the ones that have a little bit of talent. Mike Simmons doing pretty good at the meet so far, 3 for 10. And I will say, I believe these numbers go back all the way to the start of the Aqueduct Fall meet. So it includes both the fall and the winter. The winter having started on December 10th, according to my calendar. I would box the 2 and the 7 in here. Nothing really that creative, but try and beat the favorite in the 5. Top 4 selections being 2, 7, 5, and 3. Dollar exact the box with the 2 and the 7. Flat Awesome Jenny, just a quick mention. I think bad value for a high percentage trainer. She can win. Try and beat her. You can't make money if you just take these Rob Atras horses over and over again. Although he does have a positive ROI for the year. I don't know how he does it. You can make all the suspicions you want, and I wouldn't blame you for it. But I'll try and find somebody else here. I did try to find somebody else here, I should say. Race number 5, optional claiming 50,000, 7 furlongs. This race boggled me a little bit as well. And I wound up on number 6, Ghost Stalker, who's this is his 3rd career race and broke the maiden last time at Belmont on closing day. This horse has potential, and I think 15-1 is a tremendous price. First race, horse didn't do anything. Second race, drop down, get the win by a length, but put up a pretty decent 83 Briz figure at a just under 3-1, so not that great of a price, coming off a bit of a layoff. I don't know how much a layoff really is anymore in horse racing. You can all have your opinions on that. That's the highest figure of anybody in the field, with a tie. Nick Juarez is not doing great as riding, but George Weaver is always a good trainer. Definitely, I think this horse has potential to come in at a decent price. By the way, that was a surface switch to the dirt where that win did occur. Workouts are not that flashy, and there was a little bit of a break actually between the December 10th and December 23rd works, so keep that in mind. But the horse is going to be a decent price according to the morning line. I don't know if it's going to be that big of a price, 15-1. All the positives I just mentioned, we'll see. Right next door is Prospect Mountain. I looked at this horse the first time he ran, and I said, wow, that's a great name. Prospect Mountain, if you don't know, is the mountain right next to the southern end of Lake George, which I've been on a few times. It's really, really beautiful. Great views of the lake, great views to the south as well. And the horse won at 62-1. Comes back last time in a New York Stallion Series stakes race, and only gets beat about 3 lengths. I think you're getting 8-1 here on the morning line. Again, see what happens. Benji Hernandez, very low percentage jockey, but he's okay. He gives some good rides. I definitely think this horse, if the 6-7 exact comes in, it's going to pay a lot. So that's the way I'm going to approach this race. Try and really, as I approach pretty much every race, try and get some value here. And the 6 and the 7 were the two that stuck out the most to me. The 9, Conformist, logical, get to the front, won first time in the maiden claiming race at Churchill for Rob Atras. Kendrick Carmouche, always dangerous on the lead. Not surprising there. The 2, Fire Sword, who also wired a field, but this time at Keeneland. Both of those Kentucky races. What's with the Keeneland to Aqueduct move, though? I really don't get that. I was kind of surprised by it. To bring a horse to the winter at Aqueduct after winning at Keeneland, despite that not being the highest level. So that's why I put the horse 4th and not any higher. 6-7-9-2, dollar exact the box 6-7, and maybe a few small win bets on the 6 and 7 as well. Brad Cox, again, I'm staying away from. The 6th race at a mile on the dirt. This race, I couldn't come up with anything. I think the 10 is the most likely winner. That's pretty much all I have to say. I wouldn't bet this race. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot barge pole, or even larger. The 7th race, something I would maybe consider touching with a 10-foot barge pole. There's just really nothing creative I could come up with. I think you got to stick to the logical horses. I think the horse that could win the race that's the best price is number 3, Lucky Dime, for Bill Mott, who's been quiet as Bill Mott can possibly be. Finished second 2 out of the last 3, and finally broke the maiden after dropping down last time with a 92 Briz figure as the favorite at Gulfstream Park on January 26th. This is a ginormous layoff, and people usually think with Bill Mott that his horses need a race coming back off the layoff, but actually he's 16% 90 days or more away, which pretty much lines up with all his other numbers in general, including shippers. I think this is the horse. You get Carmouche as well. Horse shouldn't be that far behind in the early going. I think Lucky Dime is your best price bet in the 7th. Then you got the entry. Jump for Joy and Glass Ceiling for the Canchamarci barn. Lescano is named on both. I assume one of them is going to scratch. They're both tough, though. Have to respect them. Number 4 is the morning line favorite. Let Me Take This Call. This horse runs, I believe it's a her, right? Yes, 5-year-old mare. let me take this call. If she runs at last race, she's going to win. It's very simple. We're going to try and beat her in here with the 3-horse. Obviously, you have to use underneath if you want to go against her. And definitely have to use in multi-race bets. Not much else to say there. She definitely is the best of the bunch. The 6, Palomita for Chad Brown. Wasn't really overly impressed by this horse. Kind of likes to show up in the money but doesn't win. And you're obviously going to get a short price because it's Chad and Manny Franco. I'm going to stay away and just leave 4th. The other horses left nothing for me to be inspired by either. And then finally the 8th race, the last race of the year. And this race, again, I just couldn't come up with anything out of the body of the field. To be honest, if the 15 draws in, I'm picking the 15, who's would be on the far outside, but also is a first-time starter for this guy, Anthony Stephen, who has decent numbers on the year. Really not that bad. I don't know exactly where he's from. I don't know what TTC is. Maybe somebody can leave that in the comments for me. But considering everybody else in the race has had chances, and I believe there's other first-time starters, right? Yeah, none of them really got to me. This is the horse I would take if the horse is able to draw in. If not, right next door, Grape Therapy, logical horse, only had 3 chances and really hasn't run that bad in any of them. Actually, the first race returned the highest figure back at Saratoga. Kendrick Carmouche, Bruce Levine, he's always a good guy. Hasn't had a great meet, but a respectable meet. 4 for 31 with a few more finishes in the money. That would be the one I'd go to. Definitely would not bet this race at all. So if I wouldn't bet a lot of these races, why'd I make the video on it? Well, pretty much because I just wanted to make one more video this year. I wanted to be able to put something out there for you guys, and I want to, as this is the last video of the year, I want to thank you all very much for listening. This, I believe, was the best year in the history of the channel. So all your support, all your watching, all your comments, all your likes, they're all incredibly appreciated. This was the first year I exclusively stuck to horse racing, and I guess it worked out pretty well because the videos did great. A lot of people liked them. I'm sure some people didn't, but those people can have their opinions too. Above all, guys, as you'll hear me say this in the channel intro video, going into 2021, you'll see on New Year's Day. Have a great, happy, safe, healthy, and corona-free New Year. And definitely watch that intro video to learn what's coming up. And as mentioned in that intro video, you'll hear about this big video I've got about Belmont coming up soon too, which I feel is really important. Again, thank you all so much. Pay your bills first, and have a very happy New Year.